My girlfriend told me to get a cab after I was in a car accident. I ensured she understood the weight of her choice. I'm still grappling with what happened, but I need to vent because I can't fathom how someone I loved could be so heartless. Background. Mia and I have been together for 2 years, living together for 1, sharing expenses, the full domestic setup. I thought we were rock solid. She's in advertising. I'm a site supervisor for a construction firm. We've had our share of highs and lows, but nothing screamed warning signs until now. 3 weeks ago, I was driving back from a project site outside town when some jerk in a jacked-up truck decided my lane was his. No blinker, just cut me off at 70 miles per hour. I swerved to avoid a full-on collision, but my car took a hard hit on the driver's side, spinning me across 2 lanes before I pulled over. No broken bones, but my left shoulder was throbbing. I had glass cuts on my face and hands, and I tasted blood from biting my lip. The officer who responded, Officer Hayes, this matters later, was a stand-up guy. Turns out he grew up near me, knew my older brother from school. Small world. He ensured the EMT checked me out, helped with the tow truck, all that. My car was totaled. I was too banged up to drive even if I had a vehicle, and I was 90 miles from home. Hayes said I needed someone to pick me up, so I called Mia. No answer. I texted, "Hey love, got in an accident on I-75. I'm okay, but car's wrecked. Need you to come get me." 20 minutes later, her reply, "OMG, you good? I'm at lunch with Ethan right now. Can you grab an Uber or something? We haven't caught up in ages and already ordered. Text me when you're home safe." I stared at that message for a full 5 minutes. Hayes was waiting for an update on who was coming. The EMT was asking if I needed a hospital. My face was bleeding, and my girlfriend of 2 years was saying her lunch with her guy friend trumped picking up her injured boyfriend. For context, Ethan's a college friend of hers, always, just friends, lives across town. They meet for lunch monthly, no big deal. I never sweated it. But her choosing lunch with him over me, post-accident, hit differently. I showed Hayes the text, not on purpose, but he was still there and I couldn't speak. He read it, his face shifting. "For real?" he asked. I nodded. That's when something snapped. I wasn't mad yet. That came later. I felt cold, like a switch flipped to clear, calculated thinking. I saw Mia's priorities in sharp focus, maybe for the first time. If she was choosing lunch with Ethan, she needed to know exactly what she was prioritizing over. I asked Hayes, "Do you ever have to notify family officially in cases like this?" He caught on fast. "Well, sometimes we do need to formally notify next of kin, especially with injuries. Standard in some situations. Would that mean going to their location? If needed for proper notification, yeah, to ensure the info gets through." I gave Hayes Mia's number and told him she was at lunch at Vivid Cafe, a trendy downtown spot. I made her my emergency contact and requested official notification. He gave a small smile. Not cruel, but like he got it. Mia had posted an Instagram story from the cafe 10 minutes before her text, tagging Ethan, making it easy to pinpoint. Hayes told me to wait. He'd be back in an hour. I spent that time getting my cuts treated, filling out forms, and rethinking 2 years of our relationship. The EMT drove me to a nearby diner to wait, kind of him. An hour and 15 minutes later, Hayes returned, looking pleased. "Notification delivered," he said. "Your girlfriend should be here soon." Mia arrived 45 minutes later, eyes puffy, makeup streaked, clothes thrown on hastily. Ethan wasn't with her. She rushed up. "Noah, God, I'm so sorry." I didn't realize it was serious. Her panic wasn't about my injuries. It was about what had just gone down. I didn't say much on the drive home, just "thanks for coming" and basic directions. She kept trying to justify herself, but I tuned her out, thinking about how she reacted to my text versus Hayes showing up at her lunch. Funny how priorities shift with consequences. At home, she made a big show of tending to me, cleaning my cuts, offering food, asking what I needed. It felt empty, like she was playing the caring girlfriend out of fear, not love. I said I needed rest, went to our bedroom and shut the door when she tried to follow. In the shower, washing glass dust from my hair, it hit me. I didn't trust her anymore. Worse, I didn't respect her. The next morning, Mia was up early, making breakfast, still in damage control mode. I ate, thanked her, and said I'd stay at my brother's for a few days to recover. She didn't like it, asked why, but I kept it short. I need space to think. I've been at my brother's since, with Mia texting nonstop, wanting to talk, explain, fix things. But there's nothing to fix. She showed her true colors when it counted. The rest is just static. Update 1. Many of you wanted details on what happened when Hayes went to notify Mia at the cafe. I met him for drinks yesterday. He's become a buddy through this, and he spilled the full story. It's better than I imagined. Hayes arrived at Vivid Cafe around 2:30 p.m., a chic downtown spot packed with professionals. He walked in, full uniform, instantly shifting the room's vibe. He asked the hostess for Mia Harper by name, flashed his badge, and said he needed to deliver critical information about a traffic accident. The hostess grabbed the manager, who led Hayes to Mia and Ethan's table. Prime spot, big window, center of the restaurant, highly visible. Hayes said Mia's face went from puzzled to horrified in seconds. He confirmed her identity, then, in his official tone, said, "Ma'am, I'm here to inform you that Noah Bennett was involved in a motor vehicle accident on Interstate 75. He sustained injuries and is awaiting pickup by his emergency contact." The place went silent. People stopped eating, ears perked. Mia started asking if I was okay, how bad it was, but Hayes said her first question after the basics stood out. "Why are you here? How'd you find me?" Hayes, ever professional, replied, "Ma'am, the injured party named you as his emergency contact and requested official notification, indicating you were unresponsive by phone." Ethan started looking uneasy. Mia began explaining the lunch, saying she didn't know it was serious, thought I could just get a ride. Hayes let her ramble, then said, "Ma'am, your boyfriend has injuries requiring medical attention and has been without transport for over an hour. He requested you be notified. Hayes said you could have heard crickets." Mia's explanation had just broadcast to the restaurant that she'd ignored her injured boyfriend's plea for help. She turned red, voice dropping, but the damage was done. Hayes said people were eavesdropping, some pulling out phones to text, but clearly recording. The best part, Ethan spoke up, clueless. "Noah's hurt?" "Mia, why didn't you tell me?" Mia had to admit, in front of Hayes and the crowd, that she got my text and prioritized lunch. Hayes said Ethan looked stunned, stood, said they needed to leave, threw cash on the table, apologized to Hayes, and asked about my condition. Mia, scrambling, said she was coming right away, it was a misunderstanding. Hayes gave her my location, told her to drive safely. As he left, he overheard Ethan asking Mia why she didn't tell him I was hurt, why she made it sound like I was just needy. Mia fumbled her response. Ethan just shook his head. The kicker, a diner recognized Mia, someone from her office. Hayes overheard her say to her table mate, "That's Mia from the Thompson account. Her boyfriend was in an accident, and she didn't leave lunch to help him." Mia must have felt that one. When she picked me up, she was rattled, not just worried about me, but humiliated. She kept asking how the cop found her, why he came to the cafe instead of calling. I just said he had to notify my emergency contact officially. The drive was tense. She tried explaining, but each attempt dug her deeper. What really got me was when she said, "You didn't have to send a cop to the restaurant." That was humiliating. Humiliating, not, "I'm sorry I left you stranded," or "I should have come right away." That sealed it. She cared more about the consequences than her actions. Hayes said in 15 years on the job he'd never done a notification like that. But he's seen priorities exposed in emergencies before. He's seen relationships end over less. I'm still at my brother's. Mia's texting relentlessly, but I'm not ready to face her. I'm done, obviously. Just need to sort the apartment, as we're both on the lease. Update 2. Some developments you'll want to hear. Last Monday, I returned to the apartment to grab my stuff and have the breakup talk with Mia. I'd delayed it to secure a new place first. My brother's been great letting me crash, but I found a month-to-month rental across town and figured it was time to pull the trigger. Mia was home, launching into a clearly practiced speech, how sorry she was, how she made a terrible error, how she didn't mean to downplay my accident. All predictable. But then she said something that lit a fire in me. I think you're being unfair, judging our whole relationship on one bad call, Noah. People mess up. I was just trying to be there for Ethan. There for Ethan? What about being there for me? I asked point blank. If Ethan had been in my accident, would you have dropped everything to get him? She froze, caught in her own trap. That's different. We were already together. I shook my head, said there was no need to finish that thought, told her I was moving out and we were over. She cried, begged for counseling, swore she'd never do it again. But how do you swear not to show your true priorities? She already did when it mattered most. The logistics were easier than expected. Our lease runs until December, but she can afford the place alone and wants to stay. Most furniture was hers. I'm taking my desk, tools, books, and bouncing. While packing, Mia tried every tactic. Apologies, promises, bargaining. What if I cut Ethan off? Then anger. You're blowing this out of proportion, Noah. It was one afternoon. I said sorry. You got your petty cop stunt, and now you're throwing away 2 years over nothing. Nothing. My accident was nothing to her. Then she said, don't act like you're perfect. I messed up, sure, but you set me up to be shamed in public. That was mean, I nearly laughed. I didn't set you up, Mia. I just made sure you knew your boyfriend was in an accident and needed you. The shame was your own doing. She had no comeback. As I loaded my truck, my neighbor, Mrs. Carter, a sweet older woman who knows everyone's business, helped with boxes. She asked if I was okay, so I gave her the short version. She shook her head, said Mia had been hosting support gatherings all week, getting loud. Apparently, Ethan visited twice. Interesting. Mrs. Carter said Mia was telling anyone who'd listen how unfairly I was treating her. That sparked an idea. Remembering Hayes mentioning a co-worker of Mia's at the cafe, I did some digging. Sure enough, word of the Vivid Cafe incident spread through her office. Not in her favor. The final nail came as I loaded the last box. Mia came down for one last plea. Noah, I screwed up, but Ethan's been struggling lately. He really needed that lunch. I was being a good friend. And what about your boyfriend who needed you? That's different. I knew you'd be fine. You're tough. You handle things. Ethan's more vulnerable right now. There it was. Mia thought my emergency was less urgent because she assumed I'd manage. Her friend's feelings outranked her boyfriend's safety because he was vulnerable. That's not love. That's taking someone for granted, assuming they'll stick around no matter how you treat them. I told her we were done talking, finished loading, and left. She stood there crying, but I was over feeling guilty. I'm settled in my new place, small, but mine. No doubts about whether my roommate will show up in a crisis. Mia's texts keep coming, variations of I miss you and let me fix this. I haven't replied. Nothing left to say. Final update. I wasn't planning to post again, but something happened yesterday that proves this breakup was the right move. I've been no contact with Mia for nearly a week. Ignored texts, blocked her on social media, full cutoff. I thought she'd get the hint and move on. Nope. Yesterday around 6 p.m., I'm cooking dinner at my new place when there's a knock. Through the peephole, I see Mia with flowers and a bag of stuff. I didn't open the door, figuring she'd leave if I stayed quiet. She knocked again, talking through the door. Noah. I know you're there. Your truck's outside. Please, let me explain. I stayed silent. Then, I brought your favorite takeout from Jade Palace and some beers. Can we talk for 5 minutes? No response. Then she upped the ante. Noah, I'm pregnant. I almost opened the door to demand answers, but instinct stopped me. Instead, I texted my brother, 10 minutes away. Mia's at my door saying she's pregnant. Can you come over? He replied instantly, on my way. Don't Open Mia kept talking for 20 minutes, spinning a wild pregnancy story. She just found out. She's scared, needs me. We can work through this for the baby. When my brother arrived via the back entrance, my place has two, I let him in, quietly. We listened, and he recorded her on his phone. After 40 minutes, Mia left the flowers and food outside and drove off. I don't believe she's pregnant. If she were, she'd have mentioned it weeks ago when trying to save the relationship, not as a desperate doorstep ploy after no contact. I decided to ignore it and see what happened. This morning, my friend Luke, who works in IT at Mia's company, texted, Dude, Mia's telling coworkers she's pregnant with your kid and you bailed after a fight. Thought you should know classic. Painting herself as the victim, me as the deadbeat. I sent Luke's text to Hayes asking for advice. He called back within an hour. Noah, this is harassment now. She's spreading false claims that could hurt your reputation at work and beyond. Shut it down. Hayes suggested documenting everything. Texts, my brother's recording, witness accounts of the door incident, her contact attempts. If she escalates, a restraining order might be needed. But he also had a simpler idea. Sometimes truth kills lies. Got mutual friends hearing this story? I did. Mia and I share college friends and couple buddies. If she was pushing a fake pregnancy narrative, they deserved the truth. I group texted 8 mutual friends. Hey all, Mia and I split 2 weeks ago after she didn't help me when I was injured in a car accident. She's now claiming she's pregnant and I abandoned her, just setting the record straight. Hope you're well attached all my evidence. Within an hour, 6 responded, shocked about the accident and her lies. 2 said Mia had already told them about the pregnancy, asking advice on handling my abandonment. She never mentioned my injuries, only that we split because I was unreasonable about her male friends. Based on their reactions, Mia's story will likely implode soon. Good luck isolating yourself with your own lies. The final piece fell into place tonight. Ethan texted me out of nowhere. Noah, heard about the accident mess. I had no idea. Sorry, man. Also, she's saying she's pregnant with your kid. I know it's not true. We can talk if you need. Interesting. Ethan knows she's not pregnant. I didn't dig for details, but have my suspicions. I'm done with it all. Changed my number today, blocked her everywhere, alerted work security in case she shows up. My brother's been a rock, and Hayes said to call if she escalates. But I think she'll move on once her lies fizzle. People like Mia find new drama targets fast. This has been weirdly freeing. I dodged a massive bullet. I'm moving forward. Solid job, great friends, supportive family. That's enough. Thanks for the support and reality checks, Reddit. Stay safe. Peace out.